Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me tonight. I've got my husband Mark here with me. We are going to be doing a live painting class.
We as in you.
Right.
I'll be watching.
Exactly. He'll be manning the chat and helping me out.
I might be doing some drawing at some point.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know. Am I?
I don't know.
We'll see. Stay tuned.
Oh, my goodness. This is our collaboration project with my friend Cinnamon Cooney, the art Sherpa. She did a candle earlier today, a red candle dripping down wax. It was really beautiful. And this is my part of the collaboration. I decided to do a winter lantern. My inspiration photo is up there in the corner. You can see I kind of changed the perspective a little bit, and I found another photo that had a glowing candle in it, so I pretty much used this one and sort of combined it with the one with the tree. And so that's what we'll be painting tonight. We're using acrylic paints, and I started out with my background painted black. Just thought it would save time since it is Tuesday night, and that means hashtag feed Mark. Hopefully get this done in an hour. I don't know if we can do it, but we'll see. We'll certainly try.
Unlike the 2-hour marathon last week?
Right.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that to you again.
Okay.
I promise.
You heard it, everybody.
I'm going to switch to my close-up glasses so I can see what I'm doing here. All right, my palette tonight is... I've got two whites. This is Zinc White for some of the glass work. It's transparent. If you don't have Zinc White, you could use glazing medium with your titanium white. This is Unbleached Titanium. If you don't have that, you can mix it with white and yellow oxide. Cadmium Yellow Medium. Indian Yellow Hue. This is Cadmium Red Light. Burnt Umber. Black. I'm using carbon black, but any black will do. And Ultramarine Blue. So pretty simple. And you'll probably need, instead of, well, you'll either need a credit card or a palette knife for some of this bark texture besides our regular brushes that we usually use. So
Preferably a credit card that is not being used to buy stuff.
exactly.
Like an old credit card.
Exactly, an old one.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Don't get your mom's credit card and use it for this.
Or your wife's or your husband's.
Right, exactly. It could be a problem. Problematic. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I decided to switch it to a square canvas because I thought maybe we could make the tree trunk a little bit thicker and, you know, use up a little bit more of the space for our lantern too. So, but you can use whatever size canvas you want to on this. And the first thing I'm going to do is add just a little bit of, oh, I don't know, something going on back here, like maybe it's the siding of a house or wind or something, but I'm going to grab my black and just a little teeny tiny bit of white and a large flat brush. I'm just going to streak in just some random color back here. Just a tiny bit, maybe a little bit of brown. I don't want to go too gray. I feel like my example was a little bit too light. That's why I started with the black this time. When I did my example one, I painted with these colors onto the canvas, and I feel like it got kind of too grayed. So I really want this deep black back here, so don't get too carried away with this, but I did want just a little tiny hint of something going on back here. So it's a little bit more interesting than just flat black. You could paint a whole winter scene if you wanted to, put it in a landscape, whatever floats your boat. All right, that'll be good. It's very subtle, but you can kind of see that it's not like a solid black anymore. It's sort of streaked a little bit. I'm going to clean that off, and I might have to have you blow dry for me real quick, honey. Yeah, go ahead. I'll give this, hand it off to you really fast. It won't take long because I didn't do a lot of colors on there. We thank you guys for joining us tonight. We are, my channel is Angela Anderson, Angela Fine Art. If after the show, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And you can go check out my other videos by clicking on my name or my picture in the corner. I have all kinds of projects for beginners and intermediates. I usually do beginner projects on Tuesday nights and more intermediate projects on Saturdays, but it just depends on what. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. What is going on, and I'm all about helping beginners learn in a non-judgmental, very trying to make learning painting as painless as possible, because anytime you're learning a new skill, it can be a little bit daunting, a little bit scary. So try to pick projects that I know you can have good results with and teach it in a way that's easy to understand. So I'm going to do my tree trunk here. I think I'm going to thicken it a little bit on this side because I feel like I got a little bit too far to the middle. Just make sure that it's about the same width all the way up. Curved it a little bit because our example tree is kind of curving in a little bit. Actually, I'm going to curve it in up, or curve it out like right here where that branch is going to come out. I'm using regular school chalk, just find it easier to erase. Okay, that's probably good. And this will be my lantern section here. So I'm going to do my branch up a little bit, and then it's going to kind of come and angle down there, and then there'll be wherever the lantern hits. So we'll put the lantern right here, hanging off of it. That's where my other split is going to be, just to kind of keep that lantern from sliding down the branch, I think. And that can go off into oblivion there. I think that's probably good. I may still want to move this branch over just a little bit. I think I'm going to do that. Move it over, just draw my two lines again. Just to give myself plenty of space. Taking a damp cloth and just gently wiping that off. Don't press too hard when you're wiping this, because there we go. It'll take your paint right off since it's not cured yet. Okay, so that's pretty good, I think. And then the lantern itself kind of has a little circular thing at the top here, sort of rounded top, then a sort of square-ish base where this kind of comes in. There and there. Then we're going to angle it out. You're not really going to see a whole lot of this top of the lantern because it's going to be dark, so you don't have to worry about your drawing too much. Most of this is going to be sort of blending into your background, but it's good to kind of get it correct if we can. This picture is actually probably a better picture of what I drew, although I kind of did a combo again of the one up there and this one, because I didn't like the way this handle was. I like the handle on that one better, so I did the rounded thing on the top of this one. Okay, and so however wide I want to make my lantern, I probably want him to be about right here. So I'm just going to do a parallel line here, or a parallel line here, and probably around right here. This will be the corner of it, here and here. So you want these two lines to be straight up and down at you. And let's see, we'll go about to right here. There'll be a little bit of a lip there. And you can see I'm kind of getting this a little bit bigger, but that's good. I want to get this angle right here. So this one's kind of coming almost flat at me. It's angled up just slightly, but it's almost flat. And then this one is going to angle up and away from us towards the tree. Just a little bit. And you want this line to be parallel here. And then we'll do another straight line down on this side to close off this end of the lantern. This line and this line will be equal, so however wide or however tall you make this, you're going to need to make this. So this is going to have to extend up just a little bit, and then this line and this line will match up there and there. Then there's another line there for the roof of it, or whatever, the top of it. No, not a roof, but I want to extend this down a little bit because I feel like I want that to be a little bit bigger. So, and this is going to kind of extend off the edge a little bit there. And this will be the top of the lantern. Okay. Then we'll go straight across here, out, across here. I'm going to match up these corners. And this line, this line, this line, and this line will all be parallel. So you want your angles to match all the way down. That'll make it stay in perspective. Then this line, this line, and this line, and this line will be the same. They'll want to be all going in the same direction as well. Okay. Move this over just a little bit. See, maybe a little teeny tiny bit of the top of it there. Okay, I think that's good. I want the center there. Okay, yeah. The center of this is going to be right smack dab in the middle of this. So you just want to make sure that the center of your top of the lantern is right there. Okay, that looks good. All right, just taking a little bit extra time to make sure I get my drawing right. I sped through nothing like waiting to the last minute. I sped through my example pretty quick, and this line don't match. So it looks a little bit off. So this line would need to come down more like that to not make it look like it's a little bit skewed.
Okay, on the background again, what was your colors?
Black, carbon black, and then I used a little tiny bit of white and a little bit of burnt umber and just streaked it on.
Okay, and your chalk, is that a titanium white or a zinc white chalk?
I think it's titanium.
Titanium
I don't know.
white.
It's school white.
School white chalk.
White chalk.
Okay.
You're a mess.
Trying to be artsy there for you.
Right. Thank you. That's important.
I feel like I'm part of the group here. Don't.
You know your colors?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then we're going to see a little bit of the inside of this right here. So this is going to, we'll just pretend like this and this are showing. You will see a little bit of this on the inside here. And then this is going to, whoops. Okay, so it'll come across like this. Then you'll see a little bit of this. You'll see a little bit of that. So this is going to be the bottom of our lantern on the inside. But you're not going to see this line because this is going to be covering it up right here. But you will see this part here, which is, oops, that doesn't go that high. There. So you're going to see a little bit of that and a little bit of this corner here. This won't be visible, and that won't be visible. Okay. this line is pretty close to this one, so it'll be good. Okay, makes sense? Just making sure I get that straight across. Then my candle is going to go in right here. I'm going to kind of round it off on the edges. There's just a little tiny bit of it showing here. There's going to be two lines right here and here for this corner. There's going to be a thinner line right here and a thinner line right here. And then you're going to see a little bit of this corner on the inside of that. And then the candle is going to come in and get real close. You'll see just a little bit of it peeking out on the other side of this one. Okay, I will have a traceable for this, so if you are not into drawing and you're finding this too confusing, don't worry, we will have a drawing for you, or a traceable. Okay, so that's our drawing. It's pretty simple. I mean, I think if you keep your lines straight here, you shouldn't have too much trouble. I think the trickiest part is the inside of this, but if you've ever drawn a three-dimensional box, you kind of get that idea. So, all right, let's paint. How much time have we spent? 17 minutes drawing. Sorry. Ugh. Okay, we're going to have to boogie.
Yeah, no, but it was good. You know, people really appreciate you explaining and going into details. So,
okay, good.
You know, you don't have to worry about boogieing. We'll be all right.
All right. I made the gray here with my white and black, and I'm going to pull it from the back side in, and I'm really not going to worry too much about this outside of the tree, because if you look at our picture, the bark is very rough on this tree. So it'll actually be good to have these kind of irregular edges there. Don't make it too dark. You want it just dark enough. I might even do just a little bit of blue mixed in with it, and add a little bit of blue too. A little bit more white and blue. Just a little bit lighter shade. And add that in a couple places. Just barely setting my brush down and kind of dragging it a little bit. So there we go. Okay, let's do a little bit on this side too. This side I'm going to make a little bit more warm though. So I'm going to grab some of the brown and white and add that, and then it's going to be getting hit by that candle. So I don't want to cover all my black up though. So this is just kind of our initial shaping out our tree. We're going to add lots of other yummy details to it. Yummy, not yummy, but you know. I think it's yummy. I love it using that palette knife. It just makes me happy getting all this really odd, interesting texture going on. So
don't eat your paint, people.
No, definitely not. I've got this blue-gray thing going here. We'll do our branch. The branches on it are fairly smooth. So, and the picture is daytime, and I wanted to do kind of a nighttime setting, so that sort of changes the light sources. We're going to be playing with the light a little bit, because on the tree obviously there's light coming from both sides. It's obviously daytime, but this time I'm going to keep this back side a little bit darker and put the glow right along the front side of this on the tree, so that it looks like our candle light is hitting the tree and making it glow a little bit. Just using the edge of my brush here. This is probably not a first time painting. So, you know, if you're new to acrylic painting, I would say get a couple of my easier tutorials down before you try this one. It might give you a little bit of frustration, and I don't want that to happen. So, the very top. Well, yeah, it's right there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit darker and add a little bit of the darker there. We'll add other colors in here in a minute, but this is just getting some of these values in, keeping this nice and dark. Okay, very good. Let's grab our credit card or palette knife, and I'm going to start using actually, I'll go ahead and use my brush. It'll be a little bit easier to control it. Grab some of the brown and some of my unbleached titanium. And I've got it mixed in with the white, so it's kind of, or with this gray, so I'm getting kind of all these colors. Don't overblend it because you want all these kind of different things going on. Brush it off on one side of the credit card or palette knife. I'll do it with both and show you the difference. It's basically the same. This is just the poor man's palette knife here. And you're going to set it down at an angle, almost like a 45-degree angle, right along that edge, and just pull it towards the center. And I'm going to lift it a little bit in places and just dab, pull off some of this bark. Is this too dark to see what I'm doing here, or is it okay?
No, it looks good on my monitor here. So.
All right, grabbed a little bit more of that color, a little bit more of the brighter color. Pull it in. Grab some brown. Mix, scrape it up. And you see what happens is it picks up the texture of your canvas, and it does all this interesting stuff with it. I'll put a little bit on this branch, even though it's kind of smooth in the picture. Okay, you don't want to mess with it too much while it's wet. So don't scrape over the same area, because it'll kind of ruin the effect a little bit. So kind of want to keep it a little bit, well, just avoid over blending. Okay, I'm going to do dark, like do some black and brown and a little bit of blue on this side. Get a little bit of this darker color on this side going. I'm not going all the way to the edge, just kind of close to it. And if you curve it a little bit when you're putting it on, it'll kind of help too. Gives you a little bit that feeling of roundedness. I need a little bit more color. There we go. Let's get some white and mix some gray. White, black, and burnt umber here. This is the color that we put on the tree trunk pretty much, only it's just maybe a little bit lighter. Grab a little bit of the other colors. Okay. Okay, you can just get as detailed as you want with this. Ooh, I got a big old glop of white right there. That would have been bad. Don't want that to happen. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll put another layer on it. But right now it's wet, and so it'll just lift off what we've already done if we keep messing with it. Wipe that off. We'll do some stuff with the palette knife when I do the second layer maybe. All right, let's get our detail in here. I'm gonna grab my 1/4 inch flat. I started out with the larger brush, but I moved to the 1/4 inch. It just seemed a little bit easier to get in some of these tight spaces. And for the actual lantern, I did a mixture of white and ultramarine blue and black. Kind of that sort of similar color to what we did on the tree. Just light enough to be visible over the black. So we'll start laying in some of this color here, and there'll be several layers. So this part here I made a little bit darker, thinking maybe there was some light coming from this direction. So All of this little section in here is going to be just slightly darker than the front side here that's facing us. Will be just a little bit brighter. So I'm going to fill this in. Your chalk is going to kind of be messy at first. I'm going to grab my black and enforce that blackness there. Go ahead and fill in the top of the lantern with some dark gray. Put some up on this. This is just our first layer. Now, I was very, very loose with this interpretation. This is, I would consider a not fully impressionist, but very close to an impressionist style painting in the way that I did it. I kept everything very loose. There's no hard lines, but if you want to have it a little bit cleaner, you could tape this off and really get perfectly straight lines and take your time with that. So that's just a personal choice. I wanted it to be, this is just a little bit faster, honestly. So because we're Tuesday nighting it and, you know, trying to kind of keep it a little bit reasonable on the time frame, I just went with a little bit looser style than I might normally do. Normally my style is a little bit more tight or controlled, but whoops, wrong way. Okay, so I'm just doing various values of it. You can see I've got the really, really dark blue, gray, white here, and then a little bit lighter value and a little bit lighter also. So I'm just kind of playing with them. This side will be just a little bit on the lighter side. And I'm going to pull down kind of in the direction that that lantern, I was going to say was growing, but that's not, it's not growing. Is built. Let's say that. Okay, so I'm just trying to get rid of some of these chalk lines. They're bugging me. You know what I'm going to end up doing, and kind of end up wiping off some of my paint at the same time. I'm grab a little bit of the lighter color and just firm up some of these lines here. You don't have to outline it necessarily, but it'll help to just kind of give it a little bit definition with a little bit lighter color there. Okay. You see how the blue gray, I don't know, I just like the blue. I'm going to add a little bit more even to it later on, but I kind of liked the blue tones in the lantern. So we'll do the handle. It's going to curve around and kind of disappear in there. Make sure it's about the same width apart all the way around. This back side is going to be kind of behind. You're not going to see it, and this side is going to be kind of coming in a little bit there. So this side is going to be kind of covered. We'll give it some highlights. Grab a little white. Do some little highlights on it. Make it look a little bit shiny. Grab a little bit more white, do a little bit. Well, I'm going to have to let that dry because it's wanting to lift. Acrylics are, I know those of you who've watched me paint before, acrylics are very temperamental when it comes to when they're drying. They don't want to be messed with. It's like when I'm waking up, kind of, you know, don't mess with me until I get some caffeine. Acrylics are like, we're drying, leave us alone. So
yes, I've learned that lesson.
He's learned that lesson. Mark's gotten in trouble for, Mark's a morning person, so he doesn't understand my aversion to mornings. And I'll be like, wake me up. He got in big trouble for this. I'll say, like, wake me up at 8 o'clock, which means wake me up at 8 and I'll be ready to go if I have to be somewhere by, you know, whatever time it is. You know, I've figured to end the wake up time for myself, because I know it takes me a while. Okay, so he'll come in and he used to do this all the time. It used to drive me crazy. He'd come in because he's been up since 6, right? he's like, oh, yes, she's going to get up. And he'll give me a pre-wake up call, like 15 minutes before the time I told him to wake me up. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to let you know, I'm going to wake you up in half an hour. I'm like, no, that's not how it works, honey. You just woke me up. You just now woke me up. So,
Well, I knew that you were going to be needing to.
Don't stick your sleeve in the
Oh,
paint.
wow. Yeah, you really painted that.
Yeah, I got it good. That's all right. I got my stretchy shirt on today. What? Go ahead.
Oh, no, just, I just knew that, you usually would wake up over a period of time, so I was just helping you do that.
Hey,
and
when I wake you
realized
up,
I wasn't really helping you. So I don't do that anymore.
What, the Angry Bear response didn't include you in pretty quick, didn't it?
I was so proud of myself, too.
I'm going to wake you up in a few minutes, so just let you know. Oh my gosh, that's not how it works. Now I just set my phone. I don't even.
You don't even ask anymore.
Don't even ask, no.
So maybe that was my intentions all along.
Maybe.
See?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's amazing how we've been married so long and we're on such opposite ends of the spectrum of mornings and nights. But it worked out with our boys, though, because, of course, the boys are up late, so was a late crew, and Mark was always the one up early with them if they needed to be anywhere, so it works. All right, so there we go. We've got it kind of first coat filled in there. The difference is very subtle, yet I'm going to go back in and add some more blue. Let's go ahead and put in the inside of the lantern piece here. It's going to come down like this, and I made it a little bit more brown. So grab a little bit of brown and just, because it's kind of getting some of that glow from the inside. Felt like it might have a little bit of brown cast to it. Let's go ahead and add some brown on the outside here. Just trying to get rid of this chalk. Okay. Add a little bit of that brown up here. All right, let me see if I can get some of this chalk off without wiping everything off. Just dabbing it with a light cloth here. If you don't like chalk and it really bugs you, you can use a water-soluble pencil, because it does kind of get messy here, I admit. I'm kind of used to it, but water-soluble pencil would work too. Okay.
And is there a reason why you use chalk tonight?
Just because it's a bigger thing. If I've got a really tight painting where I need to have a lot of detail drawn in, I'll use a pencil. But if I've got a large, pretty easy to draw area, then I'll just use the chalk. It's just easier. I'm going to grab some of this white that was up there. And let's start putting in, and clean my brush out here. Start putting in our candle a little bit. I don't want to put too much in. It's going to take a few layers, so I'm trying to keep myself from getting paint all over everything. Stop laughing at me.
Hey, I didn't get any paint on myself tonight, so I'm doing all right.
Good.
That's right.
Yep. Okay, so the base color is kind of white, sort of a mix between these two and a little bit of these yellows. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this Unbleached Titanium and just sort of get in sort of the shape of the candle with this. Because it's got that black background, it's going to have a little bit of that's showing through it first. So it's going to take a couple layers of paint to cover it completely. So I'm just kind of trying to fill in the general shape here. How's chat doing tonight? Do we have questions or anything?
It is moving right along. No, everybody is discussing if they are morning people or evening people.
Nice.
And different horror stories. So you've really got them going
Got
on
them
that.
going on
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You're welcome.
But we thanks everybody who's joined us tonight. If this is your first time finding Angela, welcome.
Yes.
You can subscribe to her channel and join us in chat. If you have any questions, you can post them in there. We get them on air for her.
Yes.
And we also have a Thankful Art. Well, she has a Thankful Art page on Facebook. The links are down below in the description along with all the supplies for tonight's painting.
Yes, and I also have the group with Cinnamon Cooney called Angeluni. That so if you do this collaboration project and paint mine or hers, you can share it with us there. It's a fun group of people. All right, I mixed up some of the Ultramarine Blue with this kind of creamy color that was my candle color, and I'm just going to fill in the bottom of the candle area here. There was just kind of a, in my picture here, there was just kind of some, I don't know what that was, but I figured blue was a good estimation of that, whatever that color was down there. I mean, honestly, this is the first time, I told Mark, I think this is the first time I've ever painted a candle behind glass. So it's really challenging, but really fun at the same time. I mean, there, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've painted. If you start painting something new for the first time, it's going to be a little bit scary. And, you know, I do this, I'm sure other artists, you know, you get in something a little bit over your head. Sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, why did I pick that picture? Can I even paint this? So I was feeling a little bit of that today because I waited to the very last minute, like usual, to do my example. But it turned out all right. So I was happy with the results. And, you know, the main thing was just really getting good photographs. If you have a good photograph, you can really break it down and find those little colors and really... this is a little bit more washed out than the picture on my computer that I was looking at. You know, get a little bit more of the colors came through on the computer picture than my printer. But anyhow, that would be my advice. If you're having trouble, I would not ever recommend for a beginner, unless you're going for a very, very stylized painting. I would never try to do a painting without a good reference photo from memory. If you have not been painting for years, it is almost setting yourself up for failure. It really is. It's, you know, I see so many people, you know, and the thing is, nobody can help you with it either. Because I can't, you know, if you don't have a photograph, you can't, you know, send it to me and say, hey, how do I fix this? Or, you know, how do I do this? Because if it's all in your head, you know, there's no way for me to be able to tell you how to make it better. Here, I'm adding a little bit of this gray blue color. Added a little bit more blue than I did that first time. It's just a little bit darker. So, you know, give yourself, set yourself up for success. Give yourself a good picture to work from. You know, make sure that you've got a good, it's in focus and you've got good light sources and everything, you know. This one's a little bit blurry, but I kind of use that to my advantage when I did my candle, and I just made the whole glass a little bit blurry to match it. So actually I'll put that up there like that. That's dry there. So I'm gonna fold that since I don't need the whole thing. There we go. All right, so let me grab a little bit of this. We'll get a little bit more of the white, and we'll just kind of dry brush over some. Now that I've got that first layer, I'm just going to very lightly put in a little bit more of this brighter blue along my edge here. Kind of firm it up if it's disappearing against the edge or the darkness. I got a little off my line there. And here's where you can, if you really are a stickler and you want it to be perfectly straight, you could go in and tape this off. I'm going to grab some really true black and put in some black, a little bit, just streaks of it. It's all about the layering. Make that edge dark. Add some black to this side. And you're like, why did you add more black? Because you just covered the black. It's, you know, it's showing the blue through it. It's not a solid black because I'm dry brushing it. So you're seeing some of that other blue behind it still. So let's put in our roof line detail there. Grab a little bit of this blue for this top portion. Add a little bit of that up here. I feel like this edge is a little bit invisible, so make sure that that's seen. And you can see I have very little paint on my brush, and I'm just kind of adding it in small sections. If you get too much paint on your brush, you can use your paper towel and just wipe it off and then go back in with your brush and use it like a sponge. So if I was painting this and I just got a whole lot of paint on here and I was putting it on here and it was not doing the effect that I wanted to, I could take my brush and wipe it off and then go back over that thick paint and just lift it right off like a scoop. Your brush will act like a sponge and sort of lift off anything that you don't want on there. So get that black line back in. I want this black line to stay right up underneath there. So
it's been requested if you could zoom in a little bit
yes,
to see those details a little bit more there.
Definitely. You know what that means. You're going to be on camera duty. You're going to have to watch me. Make sure I stay on camera. Put a little bit of black there where that lantern is touching. Okay. It's a little bit tricky because, you know, it's a nighttime thing. So, you know, you don't have a lot of light sources, but you need enough contrast for you to be able to see it, but not so much that it looks like it's daytime, you know. So it's just a little bit kind of a matter of just, I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit rounded. That's probably way too bright, so I'll bring that down, but let's add a little bit of this bright up here too.
We have a question asking, is there a rule of thumb, or how do you know how much of each paint to mix with the other to get the colors that you're going for?
Well, if I know I'm going to be painting a lot with the color, like, you know, with this blue, I'll mix up a little bit more. But for the most part, I just sort of mix as I go and just try to remember what I've used. I don't usually generally mix a huge amount of any one color. You know, the exception was that, you know, like when we did the succulent and I knew the whole painting was going to be in that green tone, I mixed up a huge amount of it so that I could mix other colors with it. And, you know, but for the most part, I just sort of mix small sections as I go. Just find it's a little bit easier. Okay, so we're doing good. Let's see what time it is. Ooh, 6:45. All right, let's get some blue, just a little hint of blue there. All right, let's start putting in our glow on the inside of our lantern here. clean that out really well. Okay, so I'm going to use this white, and this is the Zinc White. If you don't have it, you can use this glazing medium with your white, or just a bunch of water with your white. Zinc White is a transparent white, so it will look a little bit more glass-like. We'll grab a little bit of this gray, this blue-gray color to mix with it so it's not pure white. And I'm going to streak it in this, in all of these glass areas. Leave lots of that background black showing, but I'm streaking it vertically. So it's okay if you get some darker light areas there. That's perfectly fine. Okay, in this corner here, I'm going to grab a little bit more of this blue-gray and some white, just regular white this time. And this area had some, I'm going to dry brush some, there was kind of a reflection of this candle over here. So I'm just going to tap in a little bit of a reflection on this back side of the glass. Make sure that I leave a little bit of the black around it. And then a little bit over here too, just slightly, right there and there. Okay. Up here, there was a little bit brighter shine, so I'll put a little bit more of that bright color at the very top. Okay, there we go. That's all we need to do for now. We'll probably add a little bit more after we get some of this glow in. I'm going to grab my Deerfoot stippler. If you don't have one of these, you could use a fan brush or just any stiff bristled brush. Really, fan brush is not going to work for this part. And I'm going to grab some of my Cadmium Red Light. You want to keep this brush dry. You don't want it to have any water in it because it'll stay stiffer that way. And I'm going to figure out where I want my glow to be, and I'm going to start stippling in a little bit more color there. Ooh, too much. Hello. Move that off. There we go. Just use my finger to blend that out. I'm going to go over the top of my candle and in a fairly wide area right behind where my candle is going to be. Then I'm going to pick a place over here, put a little bit of that glow there, a little bit of the glow right here where the reflections are, and a little bit on this thing right there. Okay?
So we have Mark has commented that the technique and colors of your lantern are really cool.
Thank you, Mark.
Bergeron.
Oh, Mark Bergeron, yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, it was definitely a challenge. It was like nothing like waiting to the last minute to do something you've never done before and then have to teach it live on YouTube. No pressure. I don't know why I did that to myself. Okay, I grabbed a little bit of my Indian Yellow Hue. If you don't have Indian Yellow, you probably substitute like a cadmium orange with some yellow. It's like an orangey yellow. It's not really, I mean, there's really nothing exactly like it on my, where is it? There. So you can see that the dark tones are very, dark. It's very transparent. Quinacridone Nickel Azo Yellow was about the closest one, but if you're going to buy a color, you might as well get the one you're looking for because there's chances are you probably don't have that one. So this plus some yellow, you might get something close, or I don't know. Nickel Azo Yellow is fairly close, but it's a little bit more of a brighter yellow tone, undertone. It doesn't have the oranginess. So anyhow, sorry you're sighing over there. I'm taking too much time.
No.
Okay.
I was just reading.
I'm going to add that on here.
Oh, I just
over
noticed you
there.
had a picture-in-picture there.
Yeah.
Hey,
I had that
I'm
whole
watching
time.
the show, really. I really
You
am.
are? Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay. Okay, don't over blend this. Don't scrub it too much, because what's going to happen, and that red was starting to dry, and I went over it and it lifted it off. So don't do that. Just let it sit there for a minute. We're gonna go put another layer on our candle here. So what were you saying?
We had a question. Somebody asked, what is the difference between using a gloss medium with a varnish and just gloss medium by itself? Is there an advantage to either way, or I don't know if that's on topic? Or
The gloss medium, well, yeah, I mean the Liquitex gloss varnish comes as it's called a gloss medium and varnish. I don't use it very often as a medium because it is so shiny, and it does kind of dry fast. So if I'm looking for a medium, I usually lately will go for the golden glazing, acrylic glazing liquid, because it extends your drying time a little bit. The medium and varnish will not extend it at all. In fact, it'll probably accelerate it. So if you're trying to, I'm going to put a little bit of this gray blue up here. I feel like it needs it. And then I'm going to grab some of that brighter blue. And I feel like I want to just do a little, whoops, let's grab really bright ultramarine. Let's just do a little section here. Pull in some of this blue down. Blue's a really good shadow color. So now that I have those lighter tones, it's also transparent. So now that I have the lighter blue in there, I could put this color over the top, and it actually will be kind of transparent.
okay, I'm asking for a
What?
viewer.
Mm-hmm.
What is the substitute for Indian Yellow Hue?
I
know you just had your color chart out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could probably use any kind of deep orangey yellow. So like cadmium yellow deep, or I don't know. There's a bunch of them, but it's just a dark deep, or not a dark. It's a transparent orangey yellow. It's kind of almost a perfect blend between the two. It's the same color that I used in my Dreamcatcher this week. So, and Cinnamon actually used it in her candle, which I thought was cool. So I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to use it on mine too. We like to color coordinate our paint colors. I don't think.
Can you slide the thing over the picture-in-picture?
Yes. Sorry.
You might zoom out a little bit.
That's all right. I'm going to go back to the candle here in a minute and grab some black. I got too much of this color up here. All right. Grab a little bit of the lighter color now. I'm fussing with it at this point. I need to stop fussing. Start just getting it done here. All right. We need to be able to be sure that we see that this is something back here. So I either need to make it darker or this lighter around it. So I think I'll make it just a little bit darker. I'm going to grab that burnt umber just to give it some contrast right there. And we can go over the top of our, there we go. That's a little bit better. Hopefully that'll dry. The right color. Let's grab some of our white and yellow, cadmium yellow medium. And I'm going to use this to fill in some of this candle. I scrubbed a little bit of that red over here too, so it's got a little bit of the red. I'm going to put some of this in. Whoops. Don't go over your edge here. I might do better to move to my number 4 round, but I'm too lazy right now. And I'm going to put a pool of this melted yellow wax right here. My candle wick is going to come up right about here. And then this part, this back edge is going to have some glow. So there's kind of an oval thing going on here. And I'm going to grab some of this Indian yellow and mix it with the red, the Cad Red. And I still have that yellow in my brush, so it's kind of a mixture of all that. And I'm going to make sure I have a little, I'm not going right up to the edge, I'm just going to make sure I have a little pool of this golden orange color right in here. And then let's use a little bit of it down here. That's probably too bright, but we'll go ahead and I'm going to grab the Unbleached Titanium and we'll soften that up just a little bit. Tap it over while it's wet. Blend that in. Touch a little bit of that lighter color in here too. Might put just a teeny tiny bit of it on this side. But this is our shadow side, so it'll be a little bit less warm than this side. So grab some of the brighter yellow. Put a little bit of the brighter yellow up here. And a little bit of it right here. Maybe a little bit on this side. Okay, the bottom of my candle here, I'm going to grab a little bit of blue and I'm going to mix it with my red. It's going to make this kind of a light brownish gray color. We'll put a little bit of that under here. A little bit on this side too. Oops, I'm really low. Sorry. Let me grab some white. Still have that brown color in there. It's actually making color very similar to the Unbleached Titanium, actually. I'm going to go over this a little bit. This is a white candle, so but it's got that, those white candles get that ivory glow when they're burning. So we want to keep the middle fairly light. And these sides over here, maybe getting a little bit of that reflection off the glass or something. So they're catching a little bit more of the yellow glow. A little bit more white, straight white on the tip. I'm just going to brighten up that. If you get too much, just use your finger to wipe it off. Okay, and I'm going to pull down from that edge a little bit. This has got a lot of layers, so you just kind of have to play with it a little bit to get it to where you want it to be. Okay, I may do another layer. Let's let that dry and see what it looks like when it dries, because these colors will change and shift a little bit when they're drying. I'm going to grab my smaller round and we'll put in our wick. So I'm going to grab that gray. It's going to be mostly black, but I'm going to gray it out a little bit so it's not pure black. And it's going to curve right here, like it's coming down, like this candle is hollowed out here. So find the center point, and the wick is sort of curved on this one. Grab some white. Add some white to the top of it. Soften it up a little bit. All right, so let's start putting in the glow. This is the fun part. Let's I'm going to dry that brush off really well, and I'm going to grab a little bit of the yellow cad yellow, and we're going to just put a few streaks of the cad yellow in here. Very light dry brush on the reflection of our, get it too bright, just wipe it off. So there's sort of a reflection in this glass right here, this front side glass. That's what we're seeing here. It looks like it's on this back thing here, but it's not. And then this one is this side of the glass, and then this one is this side of the glass. So grab that Indian yellow, and let's put in our flame. Teardrop shape. Fuzz out the edges a little bit. Let's put a little bit of that in our reflection areas, plural. You can see I'm kind of mimicking the candle flame shape, not solid, but it's, you know, similar. And then we're going to use that yellow and white. So I have some over here that I've already mixed. So cad yellow and white. Very light to start with. You can always do more. You don't want to go too dark too soon, because you kind of want it to seem a little bit see-through. So a little bit there, a little bit there. Not too bright. Might tone that down, but that gives us our little glow, right? Move that over a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to grab pure white. It's still got that yellow on my brush, so it's mixing slightly, and I'm going to dab in some pure white right in the middle there. Bring it kind of low. Grab some of that yellow, go over it. There we go. Soften it up. I'm going to go right up to my wick. So it's below the edge of the candle here. Let's add some of that really bright yellow-white color along the edge there. See, isn't that interesting how it just, it's really kind of actually fun. I really enjoyed kind of the process of figuring out how to do this with the glass, because you don't get that perfect image that you would if you were looking at it straight on. It's actually a little bit higher. Grab some of that Indian yellow. We'll put some of the Indian yellow up high here. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the flame. Let me add a little bit more of this Indian yellow in here. I feel like I need a little bit more of a, well, I don't know, it doesn't really have a shadow, but I feel like I wanted a little bit more of that bright red right there. All right, it's already looking pretty see-through-ish, right? I think we'll put a little bit more detail in with the thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and use these yellows. I don't know why I cleaned out my brush, because I didn't need to. The Indian yellow and white here, it's got the cad yellow in it too. I'm gonna use it and put some of the glow very lightly. Again, I'm dry brushing here along the inside edge of the metal of the lantern. Try to get this straight if you can. Let's do a little bit here. So it's like peeking along the edge of that glass. It's got just a little bit of a glow. If this brush is not working for you, you could switch to a flat brush, whatever brush works for you for doing lines. It's got to be stiff enough that you can dry brush with it though. Let's put a little bit down here. Just adding that little bit of a glow will, and it gives the impression that there's dimension to this metal too. It builds like an edge to it. So let's put a little bit along the top here. You notice I'm not doing a solid line. I'm just kind of, and putting a line across this thing here will also push it back. There. Okay, see? Now we're talking.
People love the flame.
Isn't that fun?
We get a lot of comments and chat on it. They're saying, just be careful, don't burn your fingers while doing it.
My fingers when I get too close to it. All right, I'll try. Thanks, guys. Thanks for looking out. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of...
And what brush are you using again? The brand and all that stuff?
Oh, they're all different brands.
Okay.
I've got my first brand was the Princeton. The large flat is the Princeton 6100 series. The small round number 2 is the Escada Perla line. And then this is the Simmons Titanium, Robert Simmons Titanium. Oh, should I tell them? Should I show what we're going to do on Saturday?
Sneak peek.
Sneak peek. So I did get my goodies from Winsor Newton yesterday. So Saturday is our giveaway show. And this is what they sent me. It's pretty awesome. Oh, I do need to zoom out. Way zoom out. Okay. There we go. Move this real quick. That'll be good. We'll let that dry before I add any more details. So this is the bamboo box set. It's got like a palette, plastic palette up here. And then, ta-da! I've got paints. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of their paints. These are not heavy body. They're kind of a medium body paint, but they say that they have a little bit longer drying time. So that's cool. I haven't used them. They didn't send me a set. I'm really bummed about that. I was kind of hoping to be able to try them out myself, but I'll be giving this away. So this is gloss gel. Got a kneaded putty eraser. I'm not really exactly sure why you'd need that, but I guess if you draw, because they gave you a pencil. So, and then you get 2 brushes in here and a palette knife. So these 2, there's a long flat and 1/4 inch flat and number 4 round, and then some varnish and a little cloth to wipe stuff off with. So it's a really, really cool set, and it comes in this awesome.
And it has a color chart also with it?
Huh?
Yeah, it's a color chart in the upper part there?
Yes, this is a color chart up
Okay.
here. Yep, it's got all their colors and things. So, and some information. So anyhow, that's a $106 value, I think, that set. And then that's only for U.S. contiguous, though, because I can't ship that out to other countries, unfortunately. The cost is too prohibitive. Second place is going to be these 4 brushes. It's a filbert, a flat, a round, and another flat, right? Those are their acrylic line. These are a watercolor line, but I use them for acrylics too. These are the Cotman, and this will be 3rd place. And these 2 sets will be for anywhere in the world. So that'll be Saturday's show. You can enter. So I'm really excited. Really cool stuff. They came through. So just a little bit bummed that I didn't get any goodies, but that's all right. I'm not bitter or anything.
Just saying.
Just saying.
You know, you're not going to be able to use them and give your full recommendation.
Right. I would think.
Right.
You know, but that's all right. It's all right. Well,
And they didn't send me any Sharpies.
No, they didn't send you Sharpies either.
Wow.
That's all right.
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I feel like I want to brighten this up just a little bit. I feel like it's still not quite the right value, so I'm going to grab some white, mix it in with some of this gray. These colors will dry darker, so you may just have to put on, multiple layers until you get it right at the right depth of color. So I'm going to just dry brush on some white in this front area here. Especially maybe along these edges to kind of make them a little bit clearer. sharper. What time is it? Oh, we're already at 7:11. Okay, we need to hurry. For ginger, we're almost done though. We're almost done. This is just nitpicky stuff now. I'm going to put a little bit of highlight along this top edge here. There. Okay. Now we're talking. Now that's popping out a little bit better. I like that a little bit better. Okay. Maybe add just a teeny tiny bit of this to this side, just slightly. But I want it to stay pretty dark, so. If you have any edges that are looking a little bit crooked, like that one was, kind of looking weird to me, this is where you can kind of, use the edge of your brush, clean up some of these lines just to make sure you get all your angles in there properly. So you can even do a little bit of a slight outline along the bottom there, along the sides, wherever you need it to be a little bit more clear. Okay. Grab that black. All right, we're getting there. We're almost done. Put a little bit more of the white up here. Maybe give this a little bit of a shine, like it's shiny. Just a little white highlights. All right, now let's work on the tree a little bit more. So on mine, I used some of the candle color, and I just scrubbed in that yellow onto the tree. So I'm going to grab some of that medium, the Indian yellow. It's got a tiny bit of white in it to make it a little bit more opaque, and I'm just going to scrub that in just right in here where it might be casting a little bit of a light on the tree. Maybe a little bit on the underside of the branch here and here, slightly. It's very subtle, but it'll kind of help that glow effect. And then I'm going to grab some more of this brighter, the Unbleached Titanium. I've got all these blues and grays going on here, so it's going to pick up all kinds of different colors. And I'm just going to do a really bright highlight on this side, just laying it almost flat. Get some really bright highlights showing up. Really pop that tree out. Pop it. Put a little bit up here. And I'm going to switch to I'll use the flat so I'm not introducing a new brush. Grab the flat, grab some of these colors with the flat brush, and we'll just do some of this up on this branch here too. And I'm putting the light color at the bottom because that's where the light source is coming from. So let's grab some of that Unbleached Titanium, and I'm going to go along this edge, and I'm just going to dab random bark shapes with the edge of this brush. Just because it's so irregular, I want to make sure that I get that texture in there. Don't be making patterns, because that's what'll give you away. you don't want to do that because you.
Can you carve in it like MA plus AA
Ooh,
or
I'd
something
love
like
that.
that?
Yeah, that's a good idea for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Now, not everybody has to put that on their tree.
Okay.
They can put their own initials.
Well, let me see if I can fit it in here somewhere. Well, I'm doing it. I'm gonna grab some black, and I'm gonna tap in the black. I've got the light color on there too, so it's kind of gonna be give it that depth effect. I'm out of black, so I'm gonna grab blue, black, brown. But that's all right. It's the same effect. There we go. You want both black, the dark and the light in your line so that it looks like there's a little bit of dimension. And then we'll do an M. And this can be very rudimentary because, of course, you're carving in wood here, so it's not going to be perfect. Plus a, what a good idea. Cute. It's good for Valentine's Day coming up next couple weeks. I don't know if you can see that very well. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, I need more black to define it. I'm going to grab my liner brush too, or the smaller number 4 round. You're just making this last longer on yourself, and you didn't realize that, right? This is just one little bit longer to get your dinner here. We'll just do some little random black lines to emphasize some of the shadow areas here.
Don't worry, I'm charging overtime on my time card.
Okay,
Yep.
Thank you. Good. I hope you're keeping track of that. I'm not. I'm going to have to make cookies for you or something this weekend. Peanut butter cookies. Okay, so M plus A, I'm going to grab some white and mix that with that. Get some of that gray color and get some highlights going on here. Just on the side facing our light source. It's very subtle. I might, if I'd realized that I was doing this, I might have done this area a little bit darker. I need a little bit more black there.
Well, we can work on the details after the show.
Yeah.
Can you do? And I mean you.
I can.
Mm-hmm. While I'm eating.
While you're eating. Just feel like it's not showing up at all. I don't know. It's weird. Actually, I'd probably need to just darken up around it so that it shows up better. That'll be the smart thing to do. The M is showing up because it's got this light color behind it. So we'll darken up around it a little bit, and then that A will pop out at us a little bit better. There we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop now. Any second now. I'm going to stop. This is actually pretty fun. That was a really good idea. Okay. Cute. So now I can't ever give this away because, or sell it. Because it's got our initials on it. That's all right. All right, let's see. I need to finish up this lantern here. We're just about done. I feel like our candle could use just one more layer of my yellowish white color. Just to brighten it up just a little bit more. It's right there in the middle. maybe a tiny bit on this side.
And everybody's reminding you, do not forget Stickman.
Oh, Stickman, yes.
So you better pick up the pace here.
Okay, all right.
People don't care anymore about this candle thing. Just,
candle thing. They're over it.
Yeah, they're over it. They want to see Stickman.
They're over it. Okay. I need the small brush. I gotta add. I need more glow on my candle here. I feel like now that it's dried, I can see that it needs a little bit more glow around the side here. So I'm just gonna use this yellow, Indian yellow hue and add a little bit more glow on there. With a little bit of white. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to use this yellow-ish color here. This is Indian Yellow Light with white, and I'm going to add some streaks to my glass in a couple places, not everywhere, because we want it to just look like it's got a little tiny bit of that glow showing up on the inside of this glass. And then I'm going to grab the white and we'll use the white. I might add a little bit of blue. Let's see what it does. It's got some yellow in it, so okay, that's good. It's kind of just a shade off white, and I'm going to add some random little dots and dashes here and there. Make it random, keep it. This is going to make your glass look like it's got some imperfections in it. And it's picking up some of the light and shining it back on itself. If you do it over the top of some of these elements that are behind too, it'll help make it look like it's pushed back too. So let me grab some blue. I feel like it needs a little bit of the blue color. There we go. Do a little bit of that. All right, now there's some snow at the top of the branches, so I'm going to grab my stippler and white and a little bit of blue because it's not going to be in the light, and actually have some yellow in there still too, but that's fine. And I'm going to tap in some of this color on my branch. I decided not to put it on my lantern because I felt like since it's lit, probably would have melted off. So I'm going to just do a little bit of snow here along the branch. Grab a little bit more of the white. Put a little bit more of brighter white highlights in there. Kind of catches in this V shape right here. It's got, keep it very, very subtle. Okay. All right, you could put maybe just a tiny bit up here, maybe. Like just the tiniest little bit, catching on some of that. But we want to keep it pretty, I don't know, I just felt like it'd probably get hot, that lantern. So all right, what do I have left to do? Oh, the little crisscrossies. Grab the black. Sorry, I know you all want
I was just thinking the blacksmith there in his shop making this lantern going, oh yeah, we forgot the crisscrossies.
Be quiet. Okay, I've got black gray here color, and I'm going to do a diagonal line here. You could leave this part out if you don't want to, if you're having trouble getting this straight. make it more transparent down here, or lighter colored. It'll make it look like it's kind of glowing. And I'm really not doing a solid line either. It's kind of broken up a little bit. There, straight line from here down here. I'm going to grab some of the yellow white, add a little bit of that to it just to make it show up. Crisscross there. Another crisscross here. Grab some white. I'm out of my black. There we go. You might want to measure this with a thing. I'm doing it by eye, but this could go very wrong. But you're just going from corner to corner, so it's not too bad. There we go. Did not mean to do that. There we go. A little bit darker. Covering up that. Cute. I'll grab some white and put a little bit of white over it. Give it some dimension. All right, I know this is getting really detailed. Mark's just sighing like crazy over there. Sorry. I know, sorry. I just touched it. Sorry, guys. All right, I think we're good. I can't really see this line over here. I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. There we go. You could, in fact, I think I will just flick it with a little bit of white paint to make it look like it may be snowing or something, since we've got the snow on our lantern. So I'm going to wet down some paint with my brush here and just flick some. Nope, that's not going to work. I need a bigger brush or a toothbrush. Do I still need Stickman, don't I? What are we doing on Stickman? Is he getting a lantern?
People who are wondering.
Okay, here we go.
Could be a flame, could be a lantern on his antlers.
There we go. Cute.
Yeah, but we can cut it short. Where it's an hour and a half here.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. We'll do something with Stickman next time.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, everybody. I know you held out this long.
That was the whole reason they were watching, too.
From the beginning. They're like, all we got was this lantern painting.
Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you all for stopping by live. And those who are watching the replay, really appreciate you all. And please subscribe to my channel. Check us out on Saturdays and Tuesdays. And we will see you next time. Thanks.